So I guess we are live once again. Hi everyone, Robert here, and it has been a while ever since the last time I did a Impact Wrestling review on this channel, especially live. 2 weeks. That's a long ass time when it comes down to the internet, but I am doing more than fine. And there's a couple of things we might need to talk about on this one. So first, before we start, I wanna hear what are your thoughts on the show before I start to review it, and then if there is some type of change on your mind, I want to hear that, especially when it comes down to the chat room. Disclaimer on this one: if you happen to be one of those Impact Wrestling fans who happens to be touchy when it comes down to Impact Wrestling, who are a little bit more sensitive, I highly suggest to you not to watch this show, even though I might be losing some audience. But the deal with me is that I will tell you the uncomfortable truth. That is my motto. That is my way of life and the way that I do conduct myself. And there was a lot of good during this episode. Let's say, this one, the Pentagon stuff, it was great. But on the other side, you have the extreme of having Grado doing a pole dance. And I don't think that is good at all, especially with the current environment in the wrestling world. But we're gonna dive into that during this Impact Wrestling review. And by the way, if you happen to be here, make sure you subscribe for more content like the one that you're gonna be watching during this video, and from guitar covers. And finally, I'm gonna be able to do top 10s. I got like 6 for a new whole batch of it. Gonna try to pre-record that just in case another hurricane comes to Puerto Rico and I end up not having electricity for a while, like last year. Let me do a change over here. Boom! Look at this. We're gonna be opening the show. We open the show with none other than Austin Aries with Killer Cross basically doing a face-off with Eddie Edwards. They're going back and forward and blah blah blah. Then Austin Aries took advantage of him being 2 versus 1 when it comes down to them versus Eddie Edwards, and they attack him. And then Moose came in for the save with a steel chair, and that is the main event for next week's show. Next, we got a guy called Zachary Shiwen. I don't know who he is. And I'm gonna, be saying the truth on this one. The guy might be good, yes, but I think we have already enough light heavyweights. We got enough X division talent. We don't need more of them. We got more than enough. I don't know why people are saying sign this vanilla midget and blah blah blah. No. Not everybody that shows up on Impact Wrestling needs to be signed with the company. That's okay to do a one-shot deal, but we already have too many cruiserweights. So I don't understand why people wanna sign everybody. That's the same stuff that happened with the World Wrestling Entertainment fans, But the thing is that at least the Impact Wrestling fans do it to people who are unsigned. The World Wrestling Entertainment fans do it to everybody. You might be doing an interview with Rosemary or something like that, and then they come some WWE cocksucker to say, "Hey, Rosemary, when you're gonna show up on World Wrestling Entertainment?" No, If she is working with Impact, I'm assuming that she is happy with them. If not, she would have left. So I don't know why this obsession with signing every single wrestler and everybody. Like, whoa, what the hell? No, take it easy. Have your core people, yeah, but it is not I collect them all like Pokemon to get all the wrestlers on your roster. So I disagree on this one with this Activision dude over there. He was facing Matt Sydal, another light heavyweight, Activision guy. Obviously, you knew that Matt Sydal was gonna win this one. Why? Because he's the most established guy, and that is one thing that I have been hearing, and I'm gonna be talking about most likely next week about it. But there have been a little bit of trouble when it comes into the ratings, and having the first match of the night between an established wrestler and some dude that I haven't heard about him. He's like famous with the hipsters on a PWG or something. I don't watch that. I watch Impact Wrestling. Tell me your audience. I am already glued to the television. Tell me why should I care about that? I care about the guys who are on Impact Wrestling, and if there's comes some talent, please sell me. Please tell me why should I care about it. Not just pretend that I watch every single indie television show. No, hell no. No, that is not somebody else's job. You're pretending that it is my job as a fan to watch every single indie promotion on the planet. Hell no. My job as a fan is to tune in to the show and then, be glued to the television and interact with the show and watch it. Rate it if you are happens to be a reviewer or something along those lines. But it is not my job as a fan to watch every single indie, and that is something that I don't get it, man. Please tell me why should I care about that guy? Because he's over with the PWG talent. Who cares? Boy. By the way, there's nothing wrong about having a squash match on TV with some of known talent. There's nothing wrong about that. What it is wrong is that you're opening the show with that. Don't do that. Do something that it is already established. So the people who didn't tune in to the first segment, watch the second segment and say, hey, there's a match between these two dudes that I somehow like. And they're gonna keep that, control, remote controller down and watch that show. And when they open those eyes, they have been already sucked in and they have been watching the show for the 2 hours that you're expecting them to do. By the way, Matsuda won the match. This show is gonna be a lot more rantier than usual, so be be prepared, brother. Be prepared, brother. Next we got Eli Drake and Trevor Lee and Kali Conley. They're having some sort of weird interactions between them. Obviously, Eli Drake asked them to do, favor, but now like the Trevor Lee and Kali Conley, wants to obviously be around the former champion Eli Drake. So that's kind of weird. By the way, I Call of Lee. It is not a bad tag team, but it is like they are lost in space, the same as with Trevor Lee, and I have put him over a couple of times before. Hell, even during the Matt Hardy drama where he was accusing Impact Wrestling of child exploitation and child work and shit like that. Even through them, and he's one of the main guys that got their Impact Wrestling because of Matt Hardy. Even through that time, I've always been supportive of Trevor Lee, but I think he's kind of lost. I don't think there's any direction at the moment with him, and that it's just kind of sad. Knowing that the guy is one of the select few guys that you got that it is almost 6 feet tall. When you're lacking in that, you should probably treat those guys in some sort of deference and do something with them. Do uh some type of push, and I think it is time for him to drop that caveman gimmick. Know that that shit is not gonna get over. It looks indie as hell, and do something more mainstream if he wants to get on top of the Impact Wrestling mountain. Next, we saw the announcement of Sami Callihan versus Marty Scroll on the Cruise of Jericho. And speaking of Marty Scroll, be advised, but there might be something coming with him in the near future. Not that near, but near December. So keep in mind for that. That is a little bit of a conversation that I'm having with one of the websites, wrestling websites over here, and they want me to do the favor of doing an interview with Marty Scroll. That's still obviously on plans, but it is not 100% confirmed. But be on the lookout. I will let you know if things go right with that proposal. Next, we got the Desi Hit Squad versus the new and improved KM and Fallah. Now KM is using a a wrestling ring attire, just like Fallah, and even being barefoot like Fallah. Obviously, you knew who was gonna win. There was not even a question, since KM and Fallah are one of those guys who are very likely liked by the bookers of Impact Wrestling. Was this a good match? It was about average type of match. Nothing crazy to see here. Nothing crazy to see here, and it is vacuous. That's my best way to describe this show. Is like vacuous, and then you have the two extreme stuff. Next we got, oh boy, I know there's some people who have a lot of fun with this. We got Katarina and Joe Hendricks. There have been some back and forward, like speculation about Joe Hendricks doing some stuff with Katarina on their greatest bag and blah blah blah. That's the last update that I got on that. And there was some loser talk and stuff along those lines. And Scarlett Bordeaux was keeping an eye on Grado, and the whole thing ended up being with, oh boy, Grado doing a strip dance with Scarlett Bordeaux. Oh boy, let me do a little bit of unpacking on this one. Was this a twist that I was not expecting? Yes, yes, I do agree with that assessment. That was something that I was not expecting, and I don't think a lot of people were expecting. By the way, I'm gonna be taking a look at the chat room in a little while. If not, I'm gonna get lost. Haven't done this for 2 weeks, so take it easy with me. The thing is that just because something is not easy to predict doesn't mean that it is a good idea. And by the way, it rots me. I feel this way, that it is like what is the name? A rib on Grado, the type of stuff that they do with him, especially with him finding love. First you have him with LBN, then you do it with Katarina. Now you're doing with Scarlett Bordeaux. It is like is this like a hidden joke in the back? Like, oh, Grado is so horrible, is so ugly looking, and he's a hopeless romantic. So let's book him with with a female trying to gain his love and stuff like that, just to poke fun at him. It kind of rubs me that way, and I don't like that. I have no problem with poking fun at people. Hell, I poke fun at everybody, including myself. Well, it kind of give me that impression. Do you feel the same as me, that they're booking him in this type of situation, that he's always looking for love or having some type of love affair, that as a rib? Because, woof, woof, woof. By the way, another thing I need to point out: how crazy would the wrestling world and the PC people will go if, instead of Scarlett Bordeaux pushing Grado to do a strip dance, then the situation was the other way around. Grado pushing Scarlett Bordeaux to do a strip dance. Keep that in mind. I'm not like a preacher for that type of stuff. Like, you must be PC and equality and blah blah blah. No, 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 no. I know the word for what it is, and there's some type of educated etiquette when it comes down to the treatment of people, and what is allowed and have good dates, and what is outside of that boundary. And that situation would be crazy insane if it was the other way around, with Grado pushing Scarlett Bordeaux to do a strip dance. Next, we got Kiera Hogan. Kiera Hogan versus Alisha Edwards. And by the way, since we are talking about Alisha Edwards, and I'm on totally on my rant on PC mode, I must say this. By the way, this is the favorite female wrestler of my man Chef. So when you see him on Twitter, send him pictures of Alisha. He's her biggest fan after Eddie Edwards, obviously. But the same way that I feel about Grado, that like it is like a hidden joke. Like, oh, let's book Grado like he's finding love, and he first he went for LBN, then he went for Katarina, and now he's going for Scarlett Bordeaux like as a rib. I feel the same way when it comes down to Alisha. First you got like this guy, um Tommy, Eddie Edwards, saying like, oh, you know your girlfriend, like being jealous, like Tommy Dreamer, like he have something with her. And then they did like last week with you know Austin Aries, saying stuff about Alicia, that it is kind of uncomfortable. I feel it is like the same kind of rib, like some people in the back might not you know be that much of a fan of Alicia, and think that she's kind of might be weird and stuff like that, and therefore they want to poke fun at her with putting her like in jealousy. That might be a rib that might have been happening in the back and we don't even know, but it is striking me like that, and I don't like that. You can poke fun or of someone on Twitter or on the internet or stuff like that, but like tweet on you know televised television, like worldwide TV, that might not be a good choice. So it does strike me that way. Do you feel the same? Like now that I am explaining my thoughts, do you feel the same? Let me know. And I'm interested in hearing somebody else putting those thoughts together. But why would you do like two back to back, like jealousy, intriguing stuff? First with Tommy Dreamer, and then with Austin Aries, like saying uncomfortable stuff about Eddie Edwards' wife. It does feel like there's some type of rip in the back with Alisha Edwards and Eddie Edwards. By the way, believe it or not, I have been a little bit more negative than usual during this show, but this match was above average, a lot better than I was expecting out of Alicia Edwards and Kiera Hogan. So kudos to both of her. They did a great job with the little time that did have in at hand, like 5 or 6 minutes. So they did the best out of it with what they got on this one, and I like the finish. But but you got Kiera Hogan beating Alicia Edwards clean with some sort of fisherman pin. I think it was a fisherman neck breaking, but my memory might be betraying me. But then after the match, the celebration, then Ali comes in and she takes the mic to cut a promo on Su Young and Tessa Blanchard, basically doing a promo for the match that it is gonna happen in next week for the knockout title. Ali, Su Young, and Tessa Blanchard. And I was sit down like wondering what the hell, like Kiera Hogan. It is someone who I think she have win on Impact Wrestling like 2 or 3 times. This is like the first like 1-on-1 victory, clean cut victory with her, and you just took that light bulb, that spotlight away from her just to put it like on Ali. Like, whoa, this didn't make any sense. Like, whoa, I was expecting, Kiera to take the microphone and cut a promo, or get herself into a match or something. But this match was basically a background decoration for the feud between Tessa Blanchard, Su Young, and Ali. That this did strike me really bad, and hell, what the hell? Like, can we give Kiera Hogan some type of, spotlight after she won the match? What the hell, man? And, it is, I know that it is what it is, right? We cannot change what it have already happened. But my God, please don't do that. Don't have the stuff being just collateral matter of background decoration just to your main feud. If you want Kiera Hogan to get over, so this kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Like, and one thing that I was reading into my mind, and hopefully I didn't saw anybody you know saying that on social media, but you might have a legitimate place that you complain about the treatment of a woman. You know what I'm talking about, but I don't want to get into that conversation. But why are you taking away the spotlight so soon, especially from Kiera Hogan and black women? Next, we got a weird segment like a spring break or something like that. The big Superstar Johnny Impact was doing his thing, and then Congo Kong came in and they had a little bit of a fight until like Johnny Impact throw him in like a pool, and that was it. You know what I was thinking about after I saw this. They would have gotten a lot of mileage of, instead of this being pulled in this being shoot in a big pool, they would have done it on a smaller pool. Why? Because you wanna like the big effect of someone who is like a huge dude like Congo Kong doing a big, basically a big bomb on the pool. That would have had a better impact. No pun intended at Johnny or have in or at Impact Wrestling, but I think that would have been a better deal to do it. But it is what it is, and it was not bad. But I hope this is not the end of this feud, because if this is the end of this feud, they are missing out on this feud, especially with Congo Kong. Next, we got Alisha Atau. I'm probably butchering that name. Haven't heard how you pronounce that, so I'm going with the way that it sounds in Spanish. And Rich One doing basic stuff promo. I think Rich One have a match next week, if I'm not mistaken, with Petey Williams, and they were talking about the history of Impact Wrestling and all the people that left and blah blah blah, and he wants to fight one of those pillars of the X division, being the Canadian Destroyer, Petey Williams. Next we got Killer Cross and Killer Cross and Austin Aries, basic heel with a big man promo, with obviously Austin Aries piss off at Moose and piss off at Eddie Edwards, and they're gonna be having their tag team match next week. So please don't read the spoilers, because I want you to have fun when you watch that show. Next we got the Cult of Lee versus some indie dudes, and I have their names written, so you know who they are. They know them at their home, and they keep food for them. It is called Brandon Tidwell and Mr. Atlantis. So those two guys were able to beat the Call of Lee. And by the way, Eli Drake was on commentary during this match, and he cut a promo with them, poking fun at him down for being a bunch of losers. It is what it is. Why would you have another show, another match with someone who is their first time at this show? This is the third person on this show. Third person that just showed up on Impact Wrestling, and they already have a match. We don't know who they are. And, it is like, something that rubs me the wrong way, especially when you're seeing the ratings going down week after week. They cannot reach, once again, 300K, which was the standard just a couple of months ago. It might not be the time to introduce people. You introduce people when you're a little bit of a high, or when you're going straight. But if you're going down, there's less people watching. It is not a good idea to bring somebody new to the place, and trying to get them over ASAP. Not a good idea. Next, we got the segment that it was controversial, right? We got LAX, Conan, Santana, and Ortiz. They are in a barrio, with celebrating with their family and having stuff like that. There was like a kid, and they gave him like the belts, like one of those kids that follow wrestling and stuff like that. And that kid got run over by, I guess it was Kingston, you know, driving a car. And supposedly this is a scene from a movie. I'm not a movie guy. I don't watch movie. Don't agree. Don't don't find anything constructive about most of the movies. If I'm taking some time to watch stuff like that, I'd rather watch a documentary, something that you could spend your time learning, that it is gonna be you know worth watching. I just don't want mindless entertainment, but I am in the minority when it comes down to all of this, so I don't get the reference. And that was it for this segment. As for thoughts on it, I get it. I know what they're going for, but the acting, man. And I did watch this with people who are not wrestling fans. I did watch this at work at one of the nights that I was doing the late shift, and everybody in the room was having fun at the acting. Like, what is this? This looks crazy. And if people who are with me were saying that, I bet there was a lot more people on TV thinking the same stuff when it comes down to this segment. I don't think this feud needed this, especially when it comes down to a kid and the bad acting. But I don't think I think that angle between LAX and the OGs is just too good to be hurt by something as this. Next, we go into main event time. Not sponsored by Monster, but I need to go to do a little bit of a run, 2 mile run. So I might need some energy to do that after this. So Sami Callihan, the draw, the self-proclaimed draw, versus Pentagon Zero Miedo. Uh, This picture looks great. He did it for the camera, and it looked amazing. Good match. They did a lot of stuff, and there were people who did enjoy the match, especially the stuff that they did with the the pistol that throws like grapples. I don't know how to say that on English, so sorry about that. Next time I'm gonna bring a dictionary, look that word up. And they did the Lego spot that have been done a couple of times on the indies. We saw them doing pile drivers like 3 times. Then we even saw piñatas, but when they open them, they have weapons inside them. And at the end, uh, Mr. Sami Callihan was able to hit the Castus Jack pile driver on a table from the second rope, and that was it for El Pentagon Cero Miedo. So, winner of this bout, it was none other than Sami Callihan. Thoughts about this? Solid match, and it saved the show. This was gonna be a total train wreck, and Sami and Penta saved the show. No doubt about this. And I wanna address something. I heard some people making the outrageous claim that since this was a Mexican death match and they had like a piñata, it was some sort of racist type of stuff. Piñatas are not only Mexicans. You're gonna find them anywhere on Latin American. And by the way, that was not done with any type of ill will. I know there's people, hunting down when it comes down to racism and stuff. You're doing something very insane. This has nothing to do with race or anything, or it is done in order to make that talent look less than. It was not done as a form of mockery. And at the end of the day, intent matter. Intent matters. That is the difference between someone being a terrorist and someone killing someone in defense, in self-defense. If you see the just without context, you say, hey, this man killed a person and this other one killed a person. They are the same. No. Context matters and intent matters. So I don't know why people would do that. Hey, if you wanna, be a activist, reviewer about Impact Wrestling, why would you not rather call Kiera, Hogan, and the Ali situation? That might have some more ground to stand up, and I don't think actually have anything to do with the color of the skin or anything like that. I guess it have to do with Ali being one of those darlings of the bookers, but also if you're gonna be making a claim that someone is racist and doing stuff with a bad intentions in mind, why would you not go where the ground is a little bit more fertile with Kira, Hogan, and Ali than to do this just as a piñata? And probably Pentagon was the one having the idea of adding the piñata and stuff like that, or Conan as a joke between all of them. And by the way, if Impact Wrestling was like that, they wouldn't have so many Mexican wrestlers and black wrestlers in their roster. So, in conclusion, let's do the conclusions and then we jump into the chat room. For this show, I will say around 6. Yeah, because I am like let's say 6 out of 10. Let me put the transition to the chat room. Wow, look at this. This is like a professional, live stream. who may have guessed this? So I got Andrew Corbill. So what's up, Andre? And I got MC 10 Man 1. That's the guy. I think he's from where are you from? You're from Bangladesh, if I'm not mistaken, right? So if you're in the chat room, let me know. So Andre asked me, "Hey, I haven't seen a impact review on the website." Yeah, that is what happened. I was working, and I have a lot of stuff to do, especially when it comes down to the military duties. There's a lot of stuff we need to get in order, just in case another hurricane pass by. Because we, even though we have second line of communication and all sorts of stuff, things go sideways, and that is the Murphy's law. So this whole month and next month is gonna be a little bit harder for me to do the review, but I'm still gonna be keep doing the reviews at least once a week, and I'm trying to do uh, and batch record a couple of shows, like either retro shows or top things, just in case something happens. So NC 10 Man says, hey, I give this show a 7 out of 10. Yo, I see your point, and without that main event the show was a 5.10, maybe less. Yeah, that's true. That show was below average, especially having so many people that are not already over with the audience, like Zachariah something, like Mr. Atlantis, and what's the name of the other guy, Brandon Tidwell. You should not put that much unknown people in the same show. I think 3 is just way too many, maybe 2 or 1 per show. That is a better idea, but not that much of them. By the way, rip to the victims of, yeah, Jacksonville shooting. Oh, so I guess shooting happened while I was recording. So, whew, rest in peace to the victims, and power to the families that lost their loved ones. Well, that's that's very bad stuff, especially crazy, insane people shooting that, some of them being source of medication, having no respect when it comes down to firearms. That is, one of those senseless tragedies that it is hard to decide to see. By the way, he MC10 man said Bangladesh. So yeah, Bangladesh. That's for those of you that don't know where that is. That is, I think, between India, Pakistan. It was called West, no, East Pakistan, if I'm not mistaken. And then, since they, Pakistan, they were abusive when they were on power over Bangladesh. Then they decided to have a separation with Pakistan, and then India ended up helping, Bangladesh, gain independence from Pakistan. Yeah, I'm not a historian. I might be wrong in some of those details, but that is, the my best and easiest way to describe this whole situation. And Sitama says the dude shoot up a place over losing a Magdan. Whoa, a Magdan tournament. What the hell, man? Woo, woo. That's crazy, man. There's no need to do that. So if you lost, you lost. But whoa, that's crazy, man. That's crazy talk. Yeah. Bangladesh, yes, right next to India, former East Pakistan, free since 1971. Yeah, yeah. So I get my geography on point. That's the same as the one of the other Impact Wrestling reviewers, like what's this name, Karma, Impact dude. He used to, no, not Impact dude, the other one, your TNA guy. He was from Suriname, and that was like a country that gained independence like not that long ago. So I didn't actually, I knew where that country was in, but I didn't know that new name. Yeah, that was called like Holland, Guyana, or something along those lines. So there's a lot of stuff you need to learn about the world before joining the internet and talking about anything. Just obviously because you might want to know a thing or two about the country of the people who watch and support your show, and know about the world. And so you can be on point and help them, and not obviously do your stuff, your entertainment stuff, but understand where your audience actually comes from, and maybe you could see their way of thinking by knowing the history and the influence inside of the country they grew up with. So I guess that is it for me. By the way, before I finish, make sure to check out my other podcast, the Impact Bodega. I'm doing that show with Chef and Jorge. That is a audio only show for the time being. That show is already on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, whatever you can find a podcast. Our show is gonna be there. I'm gonna obviously keep doing this because I do it for the fun, and if it wasn't for the internet, I will still be talking about Impact Wrestling on my private life, and do some retrospective after I watch the show. So make sure to check out that podcast that I'm doing this week. There's gonna be an Impact Wrestling review. Most likely, it's gonna be Thursday after the show. So be on the lookout for that. And I'm trying to get another show, another uh, video before, obviously before next week. I'm thinking a top 10. I have a top 10 that I've been manual rating upon. We have the pictures because let me tell you something. I'm gonna go on the last, I guess, the last rant of this show. One of the things that piss me off is when, not necessarily when people lie, but when people do imply stuff that it is not actually truth. When people play favorites and don't tell the whole story about egg kicks or gen stuff. So that is one of the things that if you want to see me motivated to do that, bro, that's one of the things that gets me light up and help me get pissed off and do stuff that I don't usually do. For the time being, I'm working on a couple of shows and stuff like that, and let me see if I can find one of the thumbnails. Those are one of the things that actually light me up. The same is what happened with the ratings. I was not gonna do a show on the ratings, and have all the countless hours, getting all the numbers and stuff like that. No, hell no. Who wants to do that? That took me like how long? Like five, 5 to 6 straight hours working. No, nobody wants to do that. But at the end of the day, I want to give you guys credible information, fact based. I don't want to give you some apologetics or repeating the same stuff every other parrots do. No, I want to give you the straight facts. So that is why I decided to take it upon myself to do the research. And that is gonna be one of the topics we are gonna be talking about in the coming up months. That I know that is one of those uncomfortable truths, but at the end of the day, it is the facts, and we're operating here on facts, not feelings. We're operating with logic and reasoning around here, and obviously, no one's gonna get hurt or anything. The only thing that you will have is might be your preconceived notions debunk, but that was it. So as for me, Robert, I'm done on this one. So thank you to everybody who watched the show all the way through. So make sure to follow me on Twitter at Wrestling Robert, and I will see you next week with another Impact Wrestling review. Goodbye. Goodbye.